All right, tēnā koutou katoa. As Sam has said, my name is Anne Hill and I'm from Sport New Zealand. And I'm here to talk about Boosted Sport and how you can use it to raise funds for your sports community. So welcome to Aotearoa's only dedicated crowdfunding platform for the play, active, recreation and sports sector. So what is Boosted Sport? For those of you who don't know about it, it's a digital crowd fundraising platform. It was made possible by the New Zealand Sport Foundation Charitable Trust, and it's managed by Sport New Zealand. So I guess it typically fills the gap where your project either doesn't meet the criteria for a grant or a fund, and or it meets the shortfall in your fundraising target. So the Boosted Sport's aim is to give community organisations the confidence to build successful giving communities. So you'd come to us if your play, active recreation or sport project needs to fundraise money. It's not your traditional type of funding. So it's not a grant or it's not a fund that you apply for. It's different and it's innovative, but it's designed to support the grassroots and community organisations like most of you here today, to raise funds from the people who care about your sports-driven passions. So this is from your family, your friends, people in your community and your wider networks. We typically have a 75% success rate of projects that are listed on the Boosted Sport platform. And we provide, it's a mentored crowdfunding. So we assign one of our mentors to you and your campaign, and we're always there to help you from setting up your campaign, and we support you for the duration of the campaign to help you best engage and get the support from your community and raise the money that you need. It's an all or nothing approach. So in other words, what that means is whatever you set as your base target that you want to raise on the campaign, you must reach 100% of that. Otherwise, all the donations do get returned back to the donors. This has actually been proven that by having this all or nothing approach, the high stake actually means your campaign is more likely to be successful because you do tend to keep very focused on the end result and reaching 100% of your base target before your campaign closes. We take a 10% admin fee. Basically, that covers all the costs. It covers the cost of running the platform, all our social media, all the mentoring from before, leading up to and during your campaign. We absorb all the credit card transactions, charitable tax receipts, and should your project not be successful, we also refund all the donations back. And there are no costs to you. There are no costs to your generous donors. And as I said, it's donation based. It's not rewards based. You don't give rewards. We believe your work in this project is basically your reward to the audience. So what is crowdfunding? Crowdfunding is basically, it's about rallying your community to fund your project. Crowdfunding can be powerful because it creates that community around your project. People are buying in and personally investing in your project. It also gives you a head start on promoting your activity or your fundraising project. Plus, you get to build up your skill set while you're at it. It'll give you a hands-on, develop your skills in community building, content creation, event organisation, marketing, and all the while through a safe and supported environment. Because with Boosted Sport, you'll get support from a team of crowdfunding experts who know the play, active rec and sports sector, and you're supported by us every step of the way. And we believe that crowdfunding can and often should form part of your larger overall fundraising puzzle. You know, you can crowdfund and you can do traditional fundraising as well as apply for your grants and your sponsorship. So is Boosted Sport right for you and your projects? Basically, any community or grassroots play, active rec or sport project can be listed on Boosted Sport so long as it's beneficial to the community and it has a charitable purpose under New Zealand law. So Boosted Sport can be used to raise funds also for physical activity-based research, education, and also infrastructure. So you don't have to be an actual sports person, a coach or a trainer to fundraise on Boosted Sport. You just need to be involved and interested in the play, active rec or sports space. And your project target can be anything from $500 upwards, but it just needs to fit in one of the 3 criteria, which is the play, active recreation or sport. And we provide a mentor to support you through your crowdfunding campaign. We do have the ability to have match donors as part of your campaign, and this is basically a person or organisation agrees to match your crowd's contribution up to a predetermined amount. So, for example, if your target was to raise $6,000 and you had a match donor who was prepared to match every donation dollar for dollar up to $2,000, suddenly that means you only need to raise $4,000 because you've already got a match donation of $2,000. And this really helps to build the momentum. It adds credibility, it creates hype and increases your chance of success, and your match donor gets to have a profile on your campaign page. Seed donors, this is basically people that you have lined up to donate on at the start of your campaign, ideally day one. It creates like a soft launch. And this statistically increases your chance of success, as most people like to follow the crowd. And if your campaign runs hot at the start, it's going to attract more support than if it's a bit more of a slow burner. Take the time to prepare before you go live. Prepare your content, build your database of people. Remember, crowdfunding is about the people around you. The average campaign is generally 4 weeks from when you go live. And there's a huge amount of resources available on the website to assist you with creating a successful campaign. This is just the website is boostedsport.org.nz. We underwent a bit of a website refresh earlier this year, and it's just made the overall website much more user-friendly. It's easier to run projects, and it's much easier to donate overall. This is just an example of one of our current projects that's currently live on Boosted Sport. You can see their target they needed to raise was $4,000. This was to bring a bunch of coaches from the North Island down to run a development for this squad of athletes down in Dunedin. And they've currently raised 95% of their target. They've still got 9 days to go. So once they've reached 100%, everything they fundraise over and on top of that is just added. They'll activate a stretch target and I guess post an update to thank their supporters and, you know, talk about what the additional funds raised would be used towards. And you can see it's really easy to donate. You just click on the donate button and it takes you straight through to making a payment. I thought I'd just finish with a couple of successful projects that we've had, just to give you an idea of the different sorts of projects. This is this Special Olympics. It was quite a wonderful little project, really. They had a modest target of $1,300 to send one athlete to the National Games in Hamilton last year. They reached that goal really quickly and added a stretch goal of $2,000, and they ended up raising almost $4,000. So that was pretty cool. And finally, this was another cool project, actually. This is the Roxburg Community Pool Committee, who had raised, I think it was about 2.7 million over a number of years, primarily through grants and funding applications. But in the time that it had taken them to raise that money, the overall building costs had increased. So they needed to fundraise to make up the shortfall. They needed to raise another $22,000, and the local school came in as a match donor, dollar for dollar, up to $10,000. It was also a really wonderful way for them to engage with the community, as the bulk of the funding had been from local boards, councils, the charitable trust funds. And here the local community rallied behind to ensure that they raised the money they needed and the project got off the ground. And I noticed that there's a couple of people on the webinar today that have also run successful projects through Boosted Sport as well. So that's it from me. Thank you for your time today. I'll unshare my screen and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yes.
Or you can also just contact me directly through the website. Stop share, here we go.
Yep.
I'm happy to put one-on-one.
There's a few questions here, and I'll just read them out for you. Do you need to be a registered charity to work with Boosted Sport?
No, not at all. Basically, all you need to do is to demonstrate that it has a charitable purpose and that it is of benefit to a community. So typically, this tends to rule out single people or single athletes wanting to fundraise for travel or anything, because there's a very small community benefit. So the larger the group, whatever, the better. But really, no, you don't have to be a registered charity or a non-for-profit. You just need to demonstrate that it is of charitable purpose and of community benefit.
Okay, cool. If you are looking at raising money for travel and accommodation to send athletes overseas to compete, is Boosted Sport the right platform?
Yep, again, so long as it sticks to that same principle of having a charitable purpose and it has of benefit to the community. We've had a number of projects that have done exactly that. There was a recently a hip hop team of young hip hop dancers that had won and made their way into competing in Phoenix. And so they were raising funds to contribute towards their team costs, and they were having to fund that all themselves. And so Boosted Sport was part of their overall fundraising efforts.
Cool. Last question. What's an average target amount? And I'll just add on another half to that question is there a trend of a particular type of project being successful?
No, I mean, there's no average target. I mean, the minimum is $500. Again, it very much depends on what the project is and I guess your community of support.
George Bauer. I have never, what did she say? I have never met him.
Tracy.
Is that?
I think we're good now.
Yeah, I think I just muted Tracy. I'm not really sure if she was asking a question or if she was on the phone. So sorry, Tracy, if you can just put your question in the chat box if you were asking the question. Sorry, Anne, you can carry on.
Yeah, no problem. No, there's not really any average target. And this is part of what we discuss with you as part of mentoring, is get an understanding of the size and the scope of your fundraising target. Typically, if it's anything sort of more than around 10,000 or, at least getting up there, we really strongly encourage you to find match donors to help you reach some of those bigger targets quite quickly. Because with the typical trajectory is it says it takes you 5 to 7 times asking for those donations before somebody will donate. So, and there's lots of equations on the website and part of the resources that help you to kind of do the maths of, okay, if this is what we're looking to raise, how many people are we looking to get in front of? And that's all the things that we can help you on an individual basis as well.